video in Bhangra, we'll be talking about hand techniques and how to get your hands to do all the weird Bhangra movements that we wanted to do. Alright, so to start with, a few exercises to help limber up your hands or to help make them nice and strong to be able to do all the Bhangra movements, or the mudra as we call it. So a few techniques here to try and work your fingers when you're doing the stretches. So what you're doing here is basically your fingers are trying to press as far as you can go, as far as the other hand will allow, and press back. So that helps with flexibility for your katak hand, which we will discuss later. Another one you can do is obviously all your stretches for your fingers and your hands. Stretching down, stretching back up. And other hand, stretching down, stretching up. It's also very important to warm up your wrists, as Bhangra has a lot of hand movements and wrist movements that go with the routine. Alright, a few exercises to help with the dexterity of your fingers for Bhangra. If you start with one hand in an OK sign and the other one in an L, and swap, and swap, and swap. And this is to eventually get your brain to think about how to move your hands doing opposite things and quickly. Alright, let's discuss the hands that are in your routine. So the most common hand in your routine is called the katak. If you put your fingers or hands together like this, and you keep your palms pressed together and isolate your fingers to move away from each other. There, hold it in that position, separate your hands, and that is your katak hand, which is your common hand that you will be using in your routine most of the time. Especially for Bhangra, you want to try and get your hands moving as much as you can, because your hands tell complete stories in your routine as well, or in Bollywood or Bhangra by itself. They use their hands to tell stories. So every hand gesture means something. So it's very important to make sure that your hand gestures are clean and precise. All right, moving on, let's talk about how your hand movements can also help the look of your routine. So you can use your hands to show flow in your routine, or you can show your hands to make it more lively, like that. So hands are very important in Bhangra. Let's walk through your routine for the hand movements. So starting your routine off, here you want to look at your wrists. You want to make your wrists as angular as you can when you're doing most wrist movements in your routine. So angular as possible on your hip. And the other one, like we said, fingers moved as far back as you can, trying to keep the tension in the hand and tucking your thumb. So it's very important in any of your hand gestures that your thumb is always tucked. No hitchhiking. Tuck that thumb always. So here, in your katak, from here, the dexterity of the hand to be able to move from the katak into a snap finger. And snap finger, snap. So the only way you will have there is the katak in the beginning, and then snap fingers here, pretty straightforward. Then, moving on to your digger hole, throw away the sand, or your infinity sign, that is katak. So it's very important to not relax your hands. We don't want your hands to just flop in that routine. So here, in your katak, and here you can choose to either let it flow, or you can use the movement in your hands to do wave-like movements. But it's very controlled. And then into your picture, tension. You're trying to get your 90-degree angles in your wrists and tension to pull your fingers as far down as you can. There. While also keeping those thumbs tucked. So don't let those thumbs hitchhike up there. Keep your thumbs tucked. And then the same to the other side. Into your picture here, your lunge. It is very important that all your fingers are together. We don't want any spaces between the fingers, so no light shining through the fingers. Keeping them tucked and keeping them one piece. Over there, tick, 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 and over into your hit. Same thing with your clock. You're in katak hand, which means that no spaces between the fingers, thumbs tucked, up, control it all the way around. Then in your plie, here is where you can let your hands relax, but also still movement. So don't just let them flop all the way up, because remember, you're still telling a story with your hands. So whatever hand movements you're doing, you can choose. You can do wrist curls, anything you want, into controlled katak hands again. So hands up there. Once again, making sure that it's katak, over there, and up. Well done. Make sure that those thumbs are tucked, like that. Palms facing forward. So you don't want your palms to face up. Think of it as framing your face. If you were to put a sticker on your palms, you want to show it to the audience at all times. So no flopping down, no flopping up, none to the side. Make sure that it's facing forward. All right, from there in your jumps, try and keep your hands as neat as you can in your jumps. So neat hands, neat hands, neat hands, and no spaces between the fingers, palms facing forward. Then your walks, it's the same as with your dig a hole, throw away the dirt. Here, same movement, or you can work it through the hands as well. There, and then your praying arms, try and keep it angular, try and press together so as not to make weird angles or weird fingers doing all kinds of funny things. Nice and neat, all the way down and done. All right, guys, make sure that you keep up with those finger exercises to get your hands nice and nimble and to get them nice and strong. It's especially important for later routines because you have to switch over with a lot of hands. All right, a nice one to think about, if you take your hands together and you do little waves, if you can do this and reverse, you're pretty much there. All right, guys, check you later. Bye. Fantastic hands with the movements, not necessarily with the feet yet. 6, 7, 8, and 1.